Well, speaking of pain. Yeah. So
you didn't smash another finger, did you?
No.
Okay,
this
good.
time
good.
I have a hematoma. Sunday night went to bed, and I came to bed later than Carl did, and I laid down, and I'm one of those people that if I can't see the clock, I can't sleep, like, because I wake up a lot in the night, and I have to make sure that I'm,
haven't overslept or something.
Yeah,
or how much more time do I have to sleep?
Exactly, and it's a thing. And he had put his glasses in front of the number. I couldn't see the clock. So I'm like, okay. So I get up, I go around the bed, go over to move the glasses, and it's dark and I'm tired and whatever. And I came back, I don't know, I misstepped, whatever, crashed right into the footboard of my bed, which is it's like a kind of a sleigh bed with a real sharp kind of corner on it, right in the front of my hoo-ha, so hard, Colleen, that I saw like lights and had to sit down, and he heard the boom and the whole bed like went,
Ow.
Oh, I have a bruise that is probably, it's bigger than an egg, and it is black, and it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. And he's like, well, put ice on it. And I'm like, there will be no icing of the hoo-ha. There will be no icing of the hoo-ha. But yeah, I mean, and it's
honestly, that's not, I know that sounds weird, but like, like a light piece of fabric and then like a bag of ice so it's not directly,
I mean, it hurt so bad. I literally,
really, honestly, my crotch is clenching.
Okay, thank you. Because I sat down and he's like, what happened? I'm like, don't talk. I can't talk. So just when fumbling around in the dark, and I'm not taking away anything from, the pain of getting kicked in the nuts. I know.
No, it's running into anything. Owie.
Crotch first is not a good thing, male or female.
No, not at all.
So, on a lighter note.
Well, we are back to the Great Northern Sexcast this week. Last week, I don't know if it was dehydration.
You saw spots too.
Oh, yeah. The migraine. I don't get these that often. I know there are people that have severe issues with headaches and migraines and medications, and nothing works. But I woke up and went, oh, that's not like those floaties are in my eye. Yeah. I'm like, nope. I could work through the fact that my wrist hurts. If I could work through the fact that we took out a bunch of dead shrubbery yesterday and everything aches from my toes to my shoulders, but not if there's floaties. So we're a little late this week.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're feeling better. This is funny. This is super funny. Southern Oregon University sent out a warning to all students about cougar sightings, okay? And like literally, as in the large prowling cats. And they're getting,
I was thinking gangs of 40 and 50-year-old women were roaming around the campus looking
they probably are. They probably are. But what was so funny is, and they just wanted everybody to be careful when hiking and, and all of that. And a college senior there, Caleb Diaz, he hit a reply all and wrote, oh, that's just my mom. And he said, I didn't think it would make it through all the filters or whatever, but somehow it did. And everybody in the administration there at Southern Oregon, said, yeah, normally that would have been caught, but it was so damn funny we didn't do anything about it. Everybody just loved it.
It is sometimes amazing what a flippant remark and where it will go.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, it's just, occasionally I've texted the wrong person, but generally it's don't forget your bassoon. And then someone here at the office will go, huh? I don't think that was meant for me.
Yeah.
Well, so far I've not had any, horrific reply all.
You know what I almost did?
Weirdness.
You know what I almost did? Like 2 weeks ago?
That's what I was trying to come up with. Sorry. My brain is, trying to find the right word.
I have a whole new way to possibly get myself in deep trouble. So yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, let me just state for the record that voice texting and voice emailing has caused me an inordinate amount of pain and given a lot of really good belly laughs to a lot of people, which that's fine. But screen sharing, on like, GoToMeeting or a Zoom.
Okay.
I have to do a lot of that with, different people across the country. And I was on a call with somebody who was driving me nuts, and I forgot that I was screen sharing. And I came so close to doing something on a messenger that said something like, I'm about to kill this person, because she was driving me nuts. She wasn't, you know what I mean?
And it would have been
seen by everybody on the call. So just careful.
I was like, either that or, eye roll so hard that, the eyeballs get stuck.
Yes. Yes. So there's just many, many ways to commit faux pas and humiliate yourself via technology these days. So what does your body shape say about your sex life? This is kind of a different take on things. So this is... Am
I talking about like apple or pear, or whether you're skinny or fat?
That's what I thought, but no, it's a little more interesting. So, okay, it starts with big boobs. So, and this was actually a study that was published in Psychology Today. Okay, so there's like stuff behind this. Okay, so it takes a whole different turn. Bigger boobs are 24% less sensitive than smaller breasts, which means that ladies with larger breasts are missing out on a significant portion of sensitivity. Okay. And they do say awesome, as has been reported throughout the millennia, guys like the big boobs, but they don't necessarily mean that the women have more fun. Okay. Small chested. This is interesting. Fact of the matter is that smaller boobs are more sensitive. And this is from the University of Vienna, saying that they actually, if it feels good to them, the arousal factor is way higher for smaller chested women.
I wonder if it's because the nerves are closer together.
I would think.
Finite amount of nerves and then just spread over a larger area.
Right. Yeah. It makes sense.
I'm just, I haven't, I have them. I have boobs, probably medium sized if you really want to, go for the, the world. But, that's really my only sort of test subjects here.
Yeah.
But I would, I can sort of see that, small boobs, nerves are closer together.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. They give a nod to women with larger hips because that's the perception of fertility. So they get a lot of, just unconscious attraction to them. Slim. They said that men perform better in bed with slimmer girls, but the slimmer women don't get the same endorphin boost as the curvier girls do. This is the roundup. And curvier women tend to be, according to the University of Leeds in England, more open-minded in bed, keener to experimentation. But women with big breasts and larger hips are often perceived as more sexually attractive. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, you got that whole... Okay, some of that seemed to contradict itself a little bit. You have more sex, but you get less... Oh, no. They find you more attractive, but you get less pleasure out of sex?
Yeah. Well...
If you're...
Yeah, I know. It was kind of a roundup of different...
Maybe,
you know what the point of this is? Here's my overarching point. The information comes and they can get data and data and data. And at the end of the day, everybody's experience is going to be a little bit different. That's kind of was my takeaway from this.
It's like, and nothing about there, once again, talked about one's brain and one's body perception. Because if you're not happy with the way that you look, it's going to be awfully difficult, for whatever reason. You're going to have an awfully difficult time, male or female, actually enjoying the sexual experience.
Yeah.
I know. I'm very...
I know.
The other problem is that, there's not, once again, fairly random studies that they put together. And, what did they leave out? What you're going through there? I get very confused by this stuff.
Let's throw this wrinkle in, Colleen. Oh my God. Maybe today it feels fun to have your boobs played with, but maybe tomorrow it won't be interesting and you're into something else. Yeah. I mean, right? Yeah. I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I'm sure that during breastfeeding or when you're, or having a period, there's a whole bunch of reasons why your boobs could feel more or less sensitive on one day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. A bad fitting bra can just go, they're irritated.
Yes.
There's been plenty of times I'm like, well, this bra seemed like a good idea, but right into the freaking garbage. I'm not wearing this thing ever again.
Yes. Yes. Have you ever heard of penis stickers?
Well, okay. We used
not the notebook variety that you would put on your peachy folder. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the kind that you put on the end of it to allegedly stop you from like getting someone pregnant. Yeah, I thought that's how you were going to react.
I'm not even sure I blinked on that. I'm just looking at her
I know.
What universe did someone pull this out of? Yeah, because we've had like novelty things for like bridesmaids, like stickers shaped like penises. They actually didn't do very well. Because once again, I mean, it's 2018, not like 1980. So slapping a penis sticker on something sort of like,
it's rather mundane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
GIF tip is what this thing is called. And, it's getting slammed right and left by doctors saying, no.
This stuff's supposed to come out.
Right. It could cause a backup, an infection, and it doesn't protect from, leakage, pregnancy, STDs.
Oh, my God.
And it could make for painful ejaculation.
It sounds like a bad bet gone wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Next year to say people like wrap their dick in duct tape or something, for God's sakes, which don't do, but that's something
people do that.
That's probably been done.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
Okay, this I'm trying not to laugh because this is for real and it's serious. Mm-hmm. Men are zapping their penises to cure erectile dysfunction. So it's a new treatment, and it entails tens of thousands of sound waves being sent through a guy's penis, which of course my first thought was, well, why don't we just yell at him? Get up, go, come on.
And this, okay, and the thought process behind this, do they explain that at all?
Kind
How
of.
in the world sound waves
it's called
stimulate tissue?
I think so. It's called Gainswave.
Or I should say.
And it's a series of treatments that'll run you about $3,000. There's a few practices in New York, and there are a couple scattered throughout the United States and Britain. Apparently, the sound wave pulses cause new blood vessels and nerve tissue to grow within the penis, enabling better blood flow and possibly improving tissue sensitivity. The FDA has not yet cleared it. Though it has approved the technology for other types of rehab.
I wonder if they could combine that to something I saw, and I don't remember what we talked about, is that there were actually, I think it was in Japan or China or someplace east, not here, in which they are, guys are getting their penis and scrotum area lasered to be lighter skinned.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they could combine.
We went to. Oh yeah.
They could combine these two things. You could get lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, and give it a talking to at the same time. Why is that funny? But yeah, it's 6 to 12 weeks of weekly treatments will run you about $3,000. So
actually, that's not. I mean, I would thought when you started with I thought you were going to go to 30, not 3.
Yeah, no. And they're hoping to really see if they can make some headway. That was not an intentional pun, believe it or not, with guys who have not had luck with Viagra. So we'll see.
I'm assuming it'll probably be, it won't take long for the FDA to do that, because if it's something for a guy getting it up, they're going to be be all over it.
Do you know who Janelle Monáe is, the singer?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Mm-hmm. So she's jumping on the bandwagon that started with Merkins at New York Fashion Week and the vagina slippers on Etsy and, all this kind of stuff. She did a video. She's got vagina trousers in her new music video. Her video is called Pink, and it's spelled Pynk. And it's supposed to celebrate self-love and sexuality and stuff. And she's like, yeah, pink is where the future's born. Pink unites us all, blah, blah, blah. So they had
vagina. Who writes this stuff for them?
Unclear. Unclear.
I mean, her voice is absolutely amazing.
Really?
Oh, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
The video also features other references to female genitalia, including but not limited to a raw oyster, a pink ring donut, and a half of a pink grapefruit.
Probably should have ordered one of those cakes from from the bakery
sure.
here. Yeah.
Those were funny. Now, there's a couple of product things that have me scratching my head. Okay. The first silent vibrator is heading into mass production out of Germany. Have you heard about this?
If it's truly silent, it will probably do pretty good because it's a mechanical thing. They make noise. No, I mean, if it's a softer material, it's going to make less noise because it's insulated. If it's a hard plastic vibrator, for an hour or stuff like that, it's going to make some noise. Mm-hmm. And it is still a question we get to this day. Will this make noise? Is someone going to hear me using it?
Okay, so it's
going through. Yeah. Oh, it's a yeah.
Well, here's what the amusing part is to me. It is invented by a female engineer from Dresden, Germany. So we've got German engineering for your dildo. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are several great companies. Most of them end up being a little too pricey for Fantasy Gives customers because we carry that, and hopefully hopefully if it's silence, it's also strong, because one of the biggest issues we've had with some of the companies we've had from Germany is that it looks pretty, it's made out of some nice silicone, but for the price, you're just not getting a motor that people are happy with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They've raised $12.3 million in US dollars in crowdfunding to get this thing to market. So if they've gotten that much backing, it must be pretty.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that, a lot of the packaging, talks about that. I'm pretty sure that if we were to, each clerk today is probably going to get that question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I don't mean to be, singling people out, but Germans are kind of renowned for their engineering. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so this could be the thing. It just tickled me. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm a longtime BMW person, so why wouldn't I try that?
Oh, I own a Z. Vroom, vroom.
Yeah, oh, yeah. They're awesome.
Which is still in storage. I need to get that out. Well, until last week we had 2 feet of snow. So it's finally gone.
That was this last weekend was so glorious, by the way. The weekend before, I was one crabby person.
I was so stuck at the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew it wouldn't last long, but I still couldn't get out of my house with the drifts.
Well, it didn't stop snowing. That was the problem. Yeah. And I had to drive.
At least it wasn't November.
God.
Through February.
But you know what? It doesn't bother you as much when it's January, because it's January and you're mentally there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I
April, come on, man.
I can't wait to get. And I'm looking at the thing going, it's going to be here. When's it going to be? Because I almost no snow left. The pile, just the large, that is the one. Okay, there's many crappy things about the spring thaw in Minnesota. We got your potholes that show up, but the large piles of snow in the large parking lots that are covered in the sand and the grit.
It's so ugly. That's really great.
You got all this other stuff happening, and then you look over, that's so pleasant, and then just like, melt already, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know.
It's yuck.
I know. Mm-hmm. Kama Sutra VR. Ever heard of it?
Okay, virtual reality Kama Sutra. I'm sure that it. Right? Is that what I'm?
It's an app that it uses 3D scans of actual porn stars porning, and you can have this superimposed over any video that you shoot on your phone camera. So it's a porn star app. So I'm taking a video of Lake Minnetonka on a Saturday, and you can superimpose fucking porn stars. And I don't mean just, those fucking porn stars. I mean porn stars actually fucking. Thoughts?
Why?
Unclear.
I know.
It's like an overlay.
I don't think you're going to add this to your Facebook video anytime soon.
And it's a monthly subscription fee, $5 a month.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either.
I really do. I try most times I'm like, I try and, you know me, I can usually like wiggle around something and try and figure out some sort of thing, any grain of why this might be needed. I can't figure that out.
It's sophisticated. too, because I'm seriously. I mean, there's like this thing. It says we use AI and a really serious motion capture system to make sure that, blah, blah, blah. I mean,
I don't understand.
It's like a porn watermark on your camera vid. I mean, isn't that weird? That's so weird. So weird.
I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't understand. Sorry, no, it's just silly. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, okay, maybe that's the point. It's just silly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Just a quick note, and we see this pop up here and there. It's not new, but it's proliferating, so it's worth a mention in this week's show. Sex classes are on the rise. Women and couples are flocking to BDSM and kink workshops. And I guess the point of this, every time an article is written about this, it's written, assuming that the audience hasn't necessarily been as familiar with it as, say, like you and I might have been. But it talks about sexperts and all the different things that are available. And we have these people on our show regularly. So that's kind of cool, to see it regularly featured. And
very fond of education. And then they got in-person stuff, but folks are doing live stuff on the web, and you're log in and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of different ways to get the information, and I love that. And not everyone is born knowing everything.
Yes.
and a different generation comes up and they're just sort of curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't, just because like one person knows physics doesn't mean other people don't stop learning about it.
Yeah.
Same thing with sex.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, it's awesome. So I always like to kind of point that out, that yet another article is coming out, and it's kind of funny because, and I appreciate this, a lot of times they're written by mainstream writers in mainstream publications. So I like the fact that they're talking to the broader public who isn't necessarily as, I don't want to call us jaded, but as desensitized to some of this, because to them it may be shocking still.
Yeah, I mean, last week, article in the Star Tribune about how sex is good for you. Well, we know that, but it's nice that it's out there, and it's just, I mean, and sometimes it's still a little salacious. Ooh, sex is good for you. And sometimes it might as well be saying that, grapefruit's good for you. I mean, it just, this article was a lot more just matter of fact. And it was nice.
Yeah.
And, Star Tribune, I don't think anyone from the Star Tribune wrote it. Probably an article they bought, but it really was, pleasant.
I have got to text a picture that I took last weekend. By the way, that just made me think of, okay, here's where my mind went when you went on this very, grown up, sort of commentary about, this being mainstream. So I took my brother moved here from California, and we took him on kind of a tour of Minneapolis, St. Paul last Saturday. And we ended up at O'Gara's at one point. And, my brother and my boyfriend oftentimes will order beer, and they'll have them put a couple olives in it. Well, these olives at O'Gara's,
olives and beer?
Yeah, it's really good. And then, you let them float in there. And then when you're done, you eat the olives and they taste amazing. Look at these olives. These olives were like enhanced. They had those little teeny mini dill pickles stuffed in them. So they look like little erect penises. And we'll have to put that up on the Great Northern Sexcast page because it was really funny. So I'm texting. Oh, look at this one. So I'm texting it to my friend while we're sitting there. And we're talking about, we're making all these rude comments. And I said, we are a couple of 11-year-old boys. And she texts me back and she goes, fart, boobs.
I am sometimes amazed of where, my friends and I, women in our 50s, some still in, 40s like that, where we will just inanely start giggling over something that we should be way past, but sometimes it's just funny.
Yeah.
An inopportunity fart, inopportune fart somewhere is still funny. Well, it will always be funny. It will never not be funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not respond right then, but later on you're texting someone going, "Oh my God."
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, so whatever. I don't know when I started this habit, but like if I'm in my house at home and I might be on upstairs and Carl's downstairs, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm walking along and I have an unexpected fart, I always yell out, "Excuse me," even if he's not within.
Oh yeah.
Anywhere near earshot. I'm like, "Excuse me," and he's like, and he finally said, "Why do you do that?" This? You basically, and I'm like, "I don't know. It's like reflexive. A habit." Yeah. Mm-hmm. Old habits. So cop on sick leave, detective, 41-year-old Richard Holder, was on long-term disability from the Eastbourne, East Sussex Police Department, and he actually is no longer employed because he used his disability time to rent himself out for sex. Yeah. Prostitution. Yeah. He set up a profile and took payments for coming to his house to have sex with them. So he's now in trouble for remuneration, inciting prostitution, and controlling prostitution for gain. Why can't they just say fucking for money and move along? I mean, it can never just be a simple term.
Yeah, I'm assuming if he's, well, I mean, then again, it depends on what the long-term, disability is. If you injured your arm and you were an officer, it's going to be a little hard to do some of the stuff you're doing, but you could still fuck.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In this case, he could. Mm-hmm. And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of a cute little story out of Australia. A couple met and they live, one lives in Brisbane and the other one lives in Melbourne. So it's not close and they have to fly and that's difficult. And so they've started a little game of funny airport signs, and it began.
So like when they're greeting each other at the airport? Okay.
Yeah. And it started with Welcome Home from Band Camp, an American Pie thing. And it has escalated to Welcome Home from Thailand. How are the implants? Things like that. And thank God you're back. I was getting tired of your dad. Stuff like.
Oh my God.
Oh, but my favorite was, even though we're cousins, I still want to get married. So it's just kind of a cute one.
That shows. I see a sense of the fact that they have such a wonderful mutual sense of humor.
Yeah.
Was going through there because that's what's going to get them through a long distance relationship.
Yes.
It's like being able to, the fact you can put something up that absurd and just bust a gut. What is going to be there? The anticipation of what that sign is going to be.
Yeah, but then the pressure gets really big. But yeah, to be humorous. But it's funny. When I saw this article, it made me think of so many people that I know that have said, "Oh, I don't do the long distance thing," and everybody that I recalled that had broken up because they said, "Well, I'm not going to do the long distance thing." It had nothing to do with the long distance. Because everybody that I personally know in this category, if they thought that person was worth it, they would have made it work. But it was just an easy excuse to get out of it. Finding.
Well, it's fine. It's just, okay, this was good here because I didn't have to put much work into it. And then they realize it's going to be work and it's not worth the work.
It's just a cop-out term.
But, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I just know someone that they were long distance and now they're together and they're just, it is the sweetest thing. And they're just people that just deserve all the happiness in the world. And sort of watching this, you're just like, woo!
No, that's awesome. Well, and the right one's hard to find. Can be hard to find. So, yeah, but I just think when people say that, I'm just like, why don't you just, come on, let's just settle down.
It was good while it was convenient, but when it stops being convenient.
Yeah. So, Pornhub, good old Pornhub, they're creative. They have done some funny stuff, and here we go. Their vice president, Corey Price, they are now offering free lifetime memberships to residents of towns with rude names. So they have identified towns and let them know of this benefit, including the names Rectum Pussy Dildo, Lower Dicker, and Balls Cross.
I really hope Climax Minnesota is in there.
My God, we need to let them know that they should, that they're eligible. And Price said, here at Pornhub, we think a name is worth celebrating rather than subjecting it to incessant ridicule. So I wonder if Climax, now I have to go look on the map. So have you ever had ex sex?
I haven't really had any exes.
What?
Dated a little bit, but nothing really exciting. Yeah. No, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a guide. We'll post it on the Facebook page. And how to have epic sex with your ex. The alliteration's killing me there. But basically, and I'll just hit a couple of the highlights of this. Play up the no strings aspect of it. Experiment. And it says,
they're really reaching there.
Well, it talks about put a new twist on old territory, fan the flames of fantasy, teach new tricks to an old dog, and dump the body shyness. I'm lumping all those together because my point is they're telling you to go fuck with wild, reckless abandon because what's the worst that can happen? You've already broken up. Right? Just saying.
Oh, no. I just think that's a can of worms. I know. I've just never. I don't know too many people that have dipped back into the ex thing that didn't end up making the entanglements or the reason they left even more apparent.
Mm-hmm. I've done that years ago, like years and years ago, and it was fine. So, when you're in your 20s, you do a lot of really stupid stuff.
So that's more like random dating for a while.
Yeah,
and then you're not dating, and they're like, we're drinking, and everybody else is pairing up, and you just wander off.
Do you remember Molly Ringwald?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever see 16 Candles?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just actually, I read an article about the fact that she watched it with her kid, like a few years back or something like that, and she looks at it differently, in 20 something versus the 80s, and there's some really awful things in a lot of movies that you don't really think about.
Yeah,
until you're like old and go, oh,
yeah. Well, she does an essay, and she's tying the Me Too movement to, she's talking about going back looking at these movies. She said at the time, John Hughes was the very famous producer that wrote and did all those movies. And she said, he was so insightful to kind of the teenage condition at the time. So I don't know how he had this gigantic blind spot. And, it's funny. I mean, I'm not excusing anybody's bad behavior ever, but, as a society, we do, what's inappropriate
things
now.
Evolve.
Yeah, things evolve. And it's like, I get really nervous when people want to go back 20, 30 years and start, talking about behavior or things, especially applied to specific people, that a lot of it was more commonplace, and then try to put it under today's. I don't.
Well, I think it would also it's difficult too because the director he's passed away, so you don't know if his work would have evolved.
Right.
I'm just going through there because you can look at a different artist and say, well, this is what they did then, and this is what they're doing now, and it's different. They've changed their perspective on things. But if they haven't changed, I think it's a perfectly, thing saying here's the pattern over the 4 decades of work.
Yes, and
going through there. But if someone's passed away, for example, a lot of people don't like Woody Allen films, but a lot of them have the same issues that he's been doing and treating the same people. And then there's the out of work stuff too. That's a little freaky on him, but it's going through there. If someone had, but then other folks have said, "Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore." There's a lot of sexism and early Star Wars stuff, but the franchise has changed.
Yeah.
It was going through there. So if you were to put the lens of the, of what's considered acceptable today on something, and it's has it evolved? If it's evolved, you can work with it.
Well, and again, I still think that as movie producers and a lot of different kinds of writers and things like that, they're oftentimes featuring. They're mirrors of society at a given time, and they really are snapshots. So, I don't think that there was anything in his movies that was a great departure from a lot of what everything else was happening at that time. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I don't think he was one particular way. I think he was reflecting society, and we've evolved. And yeah, he may or may not have chosen to do so, but I don't know. It's just an interesting, I mean, it's kind of, because I just was thinking about that movie. I was going to go watch it again.
Yeah, it used to be. I mean, I run across it and I'll watch some of it because some of it's just it's completely absurd. I was going through there, and even at the time, I'm like, well, that's sort of creepy. But then again, creepy things happen. I mean, I think that
it's a hard line. It doesn't. Yeah, it's a hard line because just because you're showing something doesn't mean that you think it's the right thing. But you're saying this has happened. You know what I mean? That's a weird line. YouTube taking a little heat because they had a thumbnail image for a porn, really like a serious XXX porn thing, and more than 300,000 views before the complaints. They finally tracked it, but like it made it through their filter, and you can't even put anything on Facebook. Yeah,
it's really quite. Yeah. It honestly is, arbitrary that an enormous amount of hate and violence seems to go right through. But a random boob or a chest or someone's buttocks or too much, or just, just the positive aspects of sexuality. I mean, are just completely, no. Yeah, but then again, speaking of, it's reflective of our society. We're much more comfortable with violence than we are with sex. Always.
I know, which is,
and I think part of that might be changing. It took hundreds and hundreds of years of to get to this point. It's not going to change overnight.
Yeah, yeah. For years and years, I've been because I was a reporter for a long time, but I could be lumped into the category of obsessive news hound. And yesterday, Carl stopped me and said, "You've got to watch these 2 YouTube videos." They were clips from Britain's Got Talent. And they were 2 of the coolest. They were older people that went on and did songs. And one of them, I don't want to tell you, but there was just, and it was entertaining. It was highly uplifting. And I'm like, I really should not have all this stuff on in the background all the time when you've got people doing this. And one of them was an Irish priest. And I mean, the accent. And he did REM's Everybody Hurts. And it was just a blockbuster. And I'm like, this is so much happier, than the other stuff. And then on a happy note, we'll end this one. 83-year-old former Playboy bunny and great-grandmother becomes the world's oldest undie model at age 83. Yes. Senior Style Bible. And she poses in sexy undies. It's an Instagram page. She has 26,500 followers.
Go Granny.
She was a bunny in Chicago and New York. There's another whole Me Too thing. Oh my God. She worked back in the 60s there, and she now lives in LA. And she said, I want to do something to combat ageism. It's awesome. So check her out. Her name is Dory Jacobson with an O. When you're in Minnesota, you have to differentiate between the O and the E.
Yes.
So yeah, she's out there. And again, it's Senior Style Bible on Instagram.
Sounds wonderful. I know. Judging the amount of GILF videos we're selling, I would say that people are going to be into that.
Sweet. All right. Great Northern Sex Cast is back. Colleen no longer seeing spots. Kelly still has a hoo-ha hematoma, but we'll be back next week.
Thanks.